Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and I am here with all of these planners. Okay, so I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planners, and I'm going to be very quickly, hopefully very quickly, going through all 8 of them. This is my return to 2024 and the planners that I set up initially in 2024. And so I've got a stack. I am going to go through these 4 right here first, then the stack of 4 over here next. So let me clear off my desk and be able to show you everything one at a time. Okay, so I do have multiple planners that I use. Usually I use them every single month. I do give myself the opportunity to switch things in and out and change things month by month, sometimes even week by week. But because I, in August, decided to go through and set up my planners for the remainder of 2024 as well as 2025, I am, I think, really good with September. And so I'm going to go through and show you all 8 planners, what is in each planner, and just kind of talk to you about what I am planning to use for September. For the month of September, I am going to keep everything separated. I'm not going to Frankenplan them together. I will see if that works for me. I am totally fine with, like, for example, this planner, my personal planner, just pulling it off the shelf and using it, writing in it, leaving it on my desk, and then clearing it up by putting it back on the shelf when I don't need it. But right above my desk area, I have my desk where I leave my planners out pretty much all day. And then right above that, I have a set of kitchen cabinets where I store my planners, and I just close the door if they are not in use. And so that's kind of what I do. I just pull planners on and off the shelf, in and out of the cabinets, and put them on and off my desk pretty much all the time. So I'm going to try in September to leave them separated and see how that works for me. I usually Frankenplan them together into a single one, but I've just noticed that, it's just as easy for me to leave them and so I'm leave them separated. So I'm going to try it for September. So with that very long introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and get into my very first planner. This planner is my personal planner. It's what I consider my catch-all. All of my classic size planners, the 6 that I have, you will notice has this cover, and it's the same set of covers, but I did make a divider, or not a divider, but like a label for the front of it, and just labeled this one personal. My personal, and actually all of my planners have expander discs on it. This one is the lavender color. And then I'm not going to flip through the planner itself, but I will just show you September. So let me actually zoom in just a tiny bit more. So for the month of September, I do have a couple of different planners in here. The first one is this Work Plus Life planner, and it's a very neutral, super clean planner. And for the beginning of 2024, I was actually using the weekly pages here to time block and time track. And I honestly don't know that I would need to go back to this. I've actually been thinking I wanted to try to track my hours at work separately, but for the time being, I'm just going to not do this. I'm just going to leave it in here for the time being. If I decide to do time tracking for September, it will, I would say 90% most likely be with my work planner and not with my catch-all. But what that means is I would just basically take these pages out and put it into my work planner. But for the time being, beginning of September, I'm not planning to do time tracking. I just have these pages in here because they were in here at the beginning of 2024. What I am going to be using for 2024, or September of 2024, is my monthly layout pages. And so what I'm going to do is actually decorate this monthly to track all of my major personal events. I don't usually put work events in here. This is just strictly for my personal life, for family events, things that I do personally, just everything non-work related goes in here. And so I'm going to decorate this page and just make it very seasonal and fun and track all of my events. I did decide to have this dashboard that's in the monthly layout be overflow for events. And so just as an example, some of the things that I track in here are going to be like on Tuesdays, my daughter has violin lessons, but we also want to make sure that she's practicing violin regularly. And so I would have a habit tracker for violin. And so some other things would be, I'm trying to think of some other things, like I might not want to put on here any time or like any minor events, like time that I have with my family, but I might want to kind of have a designated area on here for like every time I go to my mom's house, or like when my mom comes over to my house to babysit. So things that are minor events, I'm going to use and list on this dashboard layout, and it gives me a chance to use the routines here, and still haven't decided on this section, but definitely it'll be something that's very routine or like daily habits oriented here, daily events oriented here, and then I'll just use it as task list or major events, well maybe not major but like minor events that occur regularly enough in a month that I would want to track in here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Stay tuned. I'll probably maybe do a check-in mid-month to talk about how I've used the dashboard, but the heart of my catch-all system is going to be the monthly, where I track my events, and then these pages where I'm going to be jotting down all of my to-dos. And so I really need to have a place to be able to write down all of the things that I am doing. I'm not going to worry about separating them by day. I'm just going to write down the list, write down this list, write down this list, and so on and so forth. And so it will just go like basically just in these columns. In order to break it up a little bit, I will probably decorate it, use some stickers just to kind of like fill it in and make it prettier, because otherwise it will just be pen to paper and it's just going to be like solid blocks of text. And so I do think I need to break it up a little bit, and so I'm going to go in here and decorate it, but otherwise it's just going to be my to-dos. And there are a couple of notes pages here. I am going to use these pages in September as the beginning of my daily pages. So in addition to, again, the monthly and the task list, I also have in here these non-happy planner pages. These are the TUL, TUL, daily on 2 pages. These pages are initially like letter size, and I did trim off the date that was across the top and then a little bit of the margin here just to make it classic size. And I'm going to, like I said, start right here and have this be like basically September 1st. And then as I need to, I'm not going to do it every single day, but I'm going to come in here when I have a day that is fairly busy and I want to break it down a little bit more thoroughly, or if I want more journaling space, I'm going to go in here and make that my space to be able to do all of that. And again, it won't be every single day, but I have enough pages in here for the entire month. If I decide to do it all 30 days, I absolutely can. I just don't anticipate needing that much space, because mostly in September, I'm thinking it's just going to be, living my normal everyday routines, and going to those events, and then just working and hanging out with my kids, so there's not really, I don't think at least, going to be any major events where I have like 8 things in a day. But if I do have 8 things in a day, I can use these daily pages to kind of break that down, because as you can probably guess, 8 events probably won't fit into these boxes. So with that being said, then that's pretty much my personal setup. Again, no plans really for the time tracking part of it, right? But I'll leave it in here. The monthly will be my events, major events. The dashboard will be minor events and routine events. Then I'll have all of my tasks, and then starting with the Happy Planner notes pages here, but then moving into my TUL daily pages here, it will be daily notes. And so that is my personal planner. It's probably the longest, so from this point onward, it will be much quicker in terms of going through all the remainder of my planners. Okay, next planner in the lineup, planner number 2, is going to be my health planner. So I don't actually exercise or do any major like health programs, but I do like to keep track of physical health symptoms like belly aches, headaches, my food intake. That's like 90% of this planner is my food intake, and just like other notes about like GI issues and just overall health, right? Women's health in particular. But so all of that goes into my health planner. And so again, I did go through and recently set up all of these pages, but what I'm going to be doing in September is finishing out some old wellness layout pages that I've got. It kind of starts right here. So these pages are like super old. There's a bunch of random ones, but I'm going to start basically right here. This will be September 2nd. It is outdated, and so I'm going to redate. And I've got a couple of layouts or pages, weeks of wellness layout pages. Once I'm done with those pages, I'm going to be moving into what is essentially a horizontal planner. I am going to basically start at like whatever the first spread is and just white out and redate, just like I would with the wellness layout, and track my food. Now for my health layout, basically what I do track is just food. In the vertical layout, like the wellness layout, I just track down the column. In the horizontal layout, I just track in the row, or like in that box. And so I just chronologically list the food that I am intaking, and then just tracking any health symptoms or health like events that are occurring in my life. And that's pretty much it. So once I run out of the kids layout, I do have horizontal layout pages in here. And so I'm just going to use this. I definitely have enough for September. And so we'll see how much of it I can get through. Some of the pages are like not exactly, like it's not like this is not even like a full spread, but like this is just half of the page. And so I will probably like need to go in here and kind of clean it up, because I don't know that I would really want to write on it like this as a spread. So we will see. It's going to be kind of a mixture of all the different things for health, so that way I can track my food and get through the month of September. But that's pretty straightforward, just tracking all of my food and health symptoms either vertically in the column or just in each like line by line in the horizontal layout. And so that is my health planner. Okay, third in the lineup is going to be my family planner. Again, fairly straightforward. I didn't mention with the others, the first few, but I did set up all of these planners, or I think most of them at least, in previous videos, and so I will link the playlist so that way you can watch the setups of these videos. But for September in my family planner, I am using a current planner. I don't need to redate this, but it is a classic vertical, and what I track in here are any family events. So some of this comes from my classic personal catch-all planner. It will be like any family-oriented events that we are doing. That stuff will go into my catch-all, but it will also be tracked here. But I also like to track in here things that I don't personally do. So for example, if my nieces and nephews have games or events, they might not be things that I go to, but I just like to know what they are doing in their lives. So I will track that type of stuff in here. I also like to make note of any text messages or major notes that I get from my family and friends. Those go in here. Facebook posts that are like really big major milestones in people's lives, I like to make those types of notes in here. So it's really just kind of like a journal for my family and friends. And so I just kind of sticker it up and just write all over the place. And so let me see if I can show you an example. Like this is just an example. I just kind of like put stickers everywhere and wrote little notes to myself. So that's just kind of how it goes, right? And so that's what I'm going to be doing for September. I actually really enjoyed getting back into it during the summer, and so I'm excited to be back in it full time for September. Okay, moving to the fourth planner. Again, hopefully you've noticed like all the planners have the same cover, right? I just put the label and the discs and all that. This one I did actually just change to the mint discs instead of the red, so that's super exciting. But for September, what I'm going to be doing is using again a current planner. This planner is a lined vertical. I haven't yet decided what or how I'm going to be doing this. My two options for budgeting is to basically create categories and just list by category each week what my my expenses are, or I could do it by day. So I'm really not sure. I definitely think that either option I would need to color code, and so I'm on the lookout for maybe some videos. If you have any good budgeting videos using a lined vertical, please do drop them my way, because I would love to be able to see it. But definitely in the next couple of days I'm going to have to make a decision, because it is time to like set this thing up. So I have that. I also have earlier in here a monthly budget pages, and so I will have to fill out one of these for September as well, and kind of put together my budget for the month. And so these came from the household extension pack. I would love to be able to get a couple more, or I might do the bad and like make a copy of this, just because I don't actually really like it separated from September, and so I want a copy of it to kind of be with September. But I might find a printable as well and just copy out a printable or like DIY it myself. But definitely I need a monthly budget, and then I need my day-to-day expenses tracked, and so I'm going to be doing that in this line vertical somehow. And so that is my budget setup. Again, all of these videos I did set up, or all of these planners I set up in previous videos, so I will link that playlist so you can see that. But this is my fourth planner, budget. Okay, we are getting through the pile. We're definitely getting through the pile. This one is my growth planner. It is basically for all things personal development. So that includes any leadership opportunities that I'm engaging in, any volunteer experiences that I'm completing in my community, community civic engagement, like arts and culture events, all of those things that I consider personal growth, or like kind of maybe not so much like physical health self-care, but like mental self-care, if that makes sense. One of the big things that goes in here is going to be my reading as well. This did actually, the planner in here did actually start off as my reading planner, and so I've just been adapting it. This is again a current planner. It's been a running theme for the past couple of planners at least. So this is a current planner. I don't actually use the monthly for anything in here, but I do use the weekly to basically track all those community events, personal growth events, leadership, volunteering, and all of that kind of lands on here. I do also use it for a to-do list, and then just tracking big projects that are happening in the community, things that I am personally involved in, I kind of write here. I do think I'm going to use stickers to decorate. In fact, I'll just show you, I did this maybe a couple of weeks ago. I did go in and started to decorate just to give it some life. I don't think I decorated it anymore, but I wanted to definitely decorate it, because otherwise it's going to be fairly empty. But you can see here I've just tracked my big events that are happening. I just recently joined the Junior League, and so I'm just making notes to myself of Junior League tasks, all the volunteer experiences with Junior League and outside of Junior League. All of those things are happening in here, and so this growth planner is ready to go. Definitely want to try to pick up a couple of personal growth books, self-development books as well for September, and so that would go in here as well. Okay, this is the last of my classic size planners. This is my faith planner, and what I have been using in 2024 has been the Faith Warrior layout. So let's get in here and show you what that looks like. So this is the Faith Warrior. It is basically a vertical with lines at the bottom, like in the bottom 2/3, and it's following kind of the SOAP application, right? So it's SOA, and then the P is on the side here. And so I have been using it basically to take my Bible study notes in the column, and then in between each week it has a sermon notes, study notes, like a couple of like habit trackers, and like sections for you to journal. And I really love that. I like having the extra space, and really I honestly really want to finish it out, and so I am going to try in September to finish out these pages. In addition to these Faith Warrior pages, I also did recently purchase, and again, this is in the setup video for this Faith Planner, I did recently pick up an 18-month planner on clearance, and so I have those pages in here as well, and it is the brand new Faith layout that's kind of like a dashboard, and so the events are over here. There's like a joys and gratitudes section, and then of course like a dashboard that's kind of faith oriented, prayers and praises, scripture on my heart, this week, 3 daily trackers, and then like a journaling spot. But I did put it in here, but honestly I am trying to use up the Faith Warrior, and so I have the second month in here, but I don't know that I would actually use 2 Septembers for faith journaling. I don't know, I might. We'll just kind of see what happens in September, but I have both options in here. I really think for right now I'm going to focus on using up the Faith Warrior, but these new faith layout pages are also in here, just because I purchased the 18th month. I was getting it set up for 2025, and since I had it for 2025, might as well put the 2024 pages in there as well. So that is my faith planner. Okay, final 2 planners, guys. These are big, and so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and as I'm like putting this here, I will just make note if there are any planners that you see that you have questions about. If you are just curious which planner it is, please do let me know, so that way I can, give you the name of it and link it for you. I'm not very good on video with like naming what they are, so it takes me a little while to like research and find the name again, but I can absolutely find that information. It's just in the middle of a video. It's just really hard for me to name it. But this is the second to last planner. This is my social media planner. I have been for social media. Let's go to September. So for September, and really for most of 2024, I've been using outdated teacher layout pages. And these are just like a totally random mix of teacher layout pages that I've kind of put together just to be able to track my social media needs. What I like to do is across here, use this section for YouTube videos. Then normally 1 or 2 rows are for Instagram, and then like 2 to 3 rows are for to-do lists. I also decorate all over the place, and so that's what I'm going to go back to. During the summer, it was like I was trying out different things, but again, going with the theme of like trying to use up my supplies, I've already redated this for September, and so I'm going to just use it. And so that is the plan, is just to go back to this planner. And again, just like I said earlier, all of these planners are being kept separate, and so I can evaluate each planner individually on whether it's working for me or not. So I'm excited about that. And again, going back in my social media planner to the outdated teacher layout pages. Okay, last but definitely not least is probably my most important planner. It is my work planner. And so I am using a big dashboard layout planner for work, and what I've got in here are basically just the weekly pages. I have given the dividers and the monthly pages to my father-in-law for him to use to track his doctor's appointments and things like that. And so I've got a current dashboard layout that I'm going to use. I use this section to track meetings, work events, all the timed things that occur during a day. This one I use for work hours. Of course, tasks is where I put all of the things that I'm doing. And then these sections right here, I usually use for projects. And I only use the weekly pages. And so since I'm only using the weekly pages and I've already given the dividers and the monthly pages to my father-in-law, what I ended up having were these kind of like random currently pages. This is the one that's attached to basically August, the end of August. So it's the currently page that's like right before the divider. And so what I do is just use this page as well. And so I'm going to convert this page to a dashboard where probably this bottom part, I will take any like to-do lists, write all the tasks that I have. This could be my priorities or like projects that I have going on. This right hand side would be exactly the same, right? And so it's just my adaptation of this section where these are the projects and tasks. As you might remember, this will be tasks, and these top sections will be my projects. And so yeah, again, just trying to adapt, trying to use up the supplies that I've got here. And so work planner, I did use this work planner for most of 2024, and so I'm glad to be back in this one. Same for my big teacher layout one. I've been using most of this planner, or like the mix of pages, for 2024, so glad to be back in this one as well. And then definitely I am going to, just like I said earlier, link the videos where I set up these planners, these classic size planners. These are the ones that in the past couple of weeks I've been setting up, and so there have been some changes in here, but for the most part I am sticking with the categories that I typically use. So of course, catch-all, this one is health, family, budget, growth, and faith, but I've changed the layouts in some instances. And so for September, this will be my first month trialing and experimenting with some of these new layouts. In some cases, I might do a combination where I'm trying out new pages as well as keeping the old pages in there. And in some cases, I'm switching completely to the new pages. And so September will be my experiment month to see if these classic size planners work for me and for these categories. And so if they don't work, I will be switching them up in October, November, and December. So that way, by the time 2025 rolls around, I'll be ready with, a really solid plan. But just like I said at the beginning, I am absolutely one of those types of people who is more than happy to change up my system. And so if it doesn't work for a month, I will try it at some other point, or I'll even change it mid-month. That's totally my vibe. I don't feel like I have to lock myself into any one system. And so that's why I've got so many planners, just because it comes and goes. Sometimes I use them all the time. Sometimes I use all of them all of the time. And sometimes I'll go weeks without using them. And that's all okay to me. As long as my planning gets done, I am happy with that. So with all of that being said, this was a very long video showing you all of the planners that I've got for 2024, September 2024. So like I said, if you have any questions, comments, anything that you have questions about with the planners or the layouts that I'm using, feel free to drop me a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions. I will be doing a couple of like very quick setup videos for some of these planners, but I'm really looking forward to getting into these planners for September. And so I'm hoping that you're excited about your September planner lineup as well. Let me know what you're going to be using. I'm excited. I love hearing about what other people are using. So just give me a comment and let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.